Hey everybody, welcome back to You Can Learn Guitar with Paul Rogers. Thank you so much for signing in. I hope you all enjoyed your first lesson. For those of you who just started, we're on this journey together and we're going to get you playing guitar and learning your G, your C, and your D. You guys are all going to sound perfect and wonderful in due time. But before we get into this next lesson where we talk about other ways to play G and C, I want to show just a few things about the guitar. So first off, there's 6 strings on this guitar. We didn't really talk about it last lesson, but I want to talk about it now. There's 6 strings on this guitar, and it starts from the bottom, this high E string. So that goes E on this string right here. String number 1 is E. String number 2 is B. String number 3 is a G. String number 4 is a D. String number 5 is A. And string number 6 is back to E. So the first and the last string are the same string. So they're all the same wherever you go, okay? So as you travel up the neck, you're changing your pitch. See this? You're changing your pitch every time you travel up the neck. So there's only 12 notes, or there's only 11 notes in music with sharps and flats, and we'll talk about that some other time. So when you hit your 12th fret, it repeats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's the same. Those are the same notes, so it all repeats. So what you'll find is there's patterns all along this neck in order to make things simpler for you, which is great. Here is a great pattern for you to understand from the beginning. When I was young and I first learned how to play the guitar, this was very important to me as well. On the first when you start from the top, from the 6th string, the 5th string, and the 4th string, and the 5th fret is where you tune. So if you ever want to tune it, make sure your guitar is in tune. You take your low E string, which is your 6, you go up to your 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that is going to match the next string in line. So that gives you, so if those two are way out of whack, let's just put it out of whack. It doesn't sound right. So you can do that and just listen for it. It's a little high there. So bring it down. A little high still. That sounds better. And so then you move on to the next one. Same fret, next string. Sounds the same. The next string on the D string, you do the same thing. Sounds perfect. Now, when you do it on the G string, instead of going all the way to the 5th fret, because it would sound like this, not good, you drop down 1 to the 4th fret. Then it's the same. And then when you're on your B string, you're back up to the 5th fret for the E. There's reasons why that, and we can share with that later. But just for now, if you're ever listening to your guitar and it sounds out of tune because it's been sitting a little bit or a kid got a hold of the machine heads, sit down. You don't have a tuner on you. Just go to the 5th fret and tune everything to the 5th fret. And then on the G string, tune it to the 4th fret. All right? I would recommend highly going to your local music store or going on Amazon and ordering a tuner that you can attach up here. I can link one in the description below, and you'll be able to find it. Also, on your app, on your phone, there are great apps for tuning. One called the Guitar Tuna, like the fish tuna. I know it sounds weird, but it's a paid app where you can learn things, but it's also a free app for a tuner, so it works very well. So I will link the tuner at Amazon.com for you in the description below, and hopefully you can go have some fun tuning your guitar. All right? So let's get into lesson number 2. Since you've already learned pretty close how to do this, let me just share with you just a few different variations of those chords that you can work with. Okay, first off, when you're playing C like this, sometimes it's hard to go like this all the way back and forth. It's a lot of work. If we're playing C like this, we can switch up the way we play G. So instead of the cream fingers like this, where your middle's on your E string and your pointer is on your A string, let's switch it up and bring your ring finger all the way up to the center G, to the 3rd fret, 6th string G, right up there, right up top. And there's your middle finger, and your middle finger will go all the way over, just right next to it on the A string, on the 2nd fret. So you have that bo-dum, 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 that beautiful 3rd right there. And then you take your pinky finger, and you're just going to be a little stretch for some of you, but that's okay. You put that down at the bottom on the other E, on the E. way down there on the 3rd fret. And that gives you the same thing as that, only it's different with your fingers. You know how that helps? Because you can go like this. See how much easier that is? And if you're doing this, you can add a little bit of flavor to it by taking your pointer finger here and putting it on the 1st fret on the B string, which is this 2nd string, and it gives you something called a G suspended. So you're here, and you get this little suspension. Gives that little flair. Yeah. There's an old song we used to do in church back in the 90s. Let the poor man say, I am rich in him. So it gives this like little feel here when you go down. But you want to go up. Gives that little color, all right? There is another thing you can do to add a little color and flair. If you're ever going to a C, and it's kind of more of a folky feel, or you know, really can fit anywhere, but a lot of folky country feels does this. You can do what we call a G7. What G7 is, you take this G, you get rid of the pinky finger, but you take your pointer and put it on the 1st fret on the E string. Hear that? So we got like this. And then it's a very good passing. It's like a good passing tone to the C. So you're hitting a G, going there to the C. I like to go to the C. Back to the G, going back to the C. See? So it adds a little bit of flair to it, a little bit of flavor to it. So that's your G suspended, and your G7. That'll help you out with a little bit of color on that end as well. The last G I want to show you is back to the original configuration, just like this, like we had originally, but instead of this, we're going to take your ring finger, put it on the B string on the 3rd fret, and your pinky finger on the 3rd fret on the E string. And that gives it a nice little fatness to it. And then you put those two normally, and that gives you just a little bit more fatness. There's only one B in the chord now up here. Down here, instead of having a B down there, you're having another D down there. But that's okay. It adds a really cool color to it. So that's I play this a lot. A lot of people play this chord this way. So when you feel confident here and here, try here, and that'll give you a really great color. All right. And the only other C that I want to show you today is actually a riff right off of this chord, this G. And that C would be, you take these two fingers, just these two, you leave these bottom two stable, you don't move them, take these two, and you move them each down a string. So that gives you like, so it's kind of like that song by Tom Petty, and I'm free. And there's a D in it, free falling. See what I mean? And I'm free, free falling. Those little passing tones and stuff we can talk with later. But that there is a great way to go from G, C, and then easily to D. You see what happened there when I change them? See what happens there? This ring finger doesn't move. It's like a foundational note. It doesn't move. It doesn't move at all. Pretty cool stuff. So I'd like you to take those notes, take those chords, play with them, feel them around, get used to it. In our next class, we're going to bring in something called minor chords, and it's going to give you a really great contrast from all these major chords, which are really going to help you build and block your songs and make things so much better. Thank you so much again for signing in. Really appreciate all you do for us. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Comment with any questions you have. We'd love to hear some feedback, some things you want to learn so that we can add in future videos. Be blessed and have a great day. We'll see you next time.